Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the CertiK Security Leaderboard Showcase. I'm your host, Jesse. As you all know, in this showcase, I host a project for a live AMA where we discuss their work, their audit with CertiK, the Security Leaderboard, and we throw in some questions submitted by you, the viewers. Our goal is to raise the standard of security and transparency in the Web3 ecosystem. The Security Leaderboard, found at CertiK.com, is a free tool to help you safely navigate the blockchain world. Today's featured project is Humanode, and we have on co-founder of Humanode, Victor, to speak to us today. Tell us a bit about his project. Hi, Victor. How's it going?
Well, it's going great. Thanks for having me. We're living in exciting times, especially as a project. So, yeah. What do you want to hear first?
Well, can you just give us an overview of what Humanode is for viewers who may not be familiar? What problems are you trying to solve?
That's pretty simple. We've been in crypto for almost a decade. And you see that, well, crypto tech is decentralized. Anybody can use it. Anybody can fork it. It's open source. However, due to the fact that all the networks are based either on proof of work or proof of stake, eventually they get centralized around the major validators or mining pools. And they have more or less the real decision-making power in the network. So this is not really, in terms of power, decentralized. That's the problem we want to tackle. And that's why we built the blockchain where one person can only launch one node, one server. And, well, eventually it will morph into the DAO where all the people have an equal vote and an equal share of the network.
Got it. So no one person can have any more control of the network than any other person.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, okay. I would say that DAO will be a little more complicated, but that's the basic idea.
Got it. And that's where the proof of uniqueness and proof of existence come in. So how do those work exactly? How do you ensure that only one person is running
sure.
a node?
That's a good question. We were thinking about it for years, and eventually we came up with a solution which is based on biometrics. We use facial recognition, but we make it private, putting in the secure enclaves like Intel SGX and AMD SVSNP. And in the next version, we'll have completely cryptographically secure biometrics that do not require any kind of hardware security. So that's more or less it. And I would also add that why we say proof of human existence and uniqueness, because one module of the biometric AI, I would say, checks whether you're unique by comparing the anonymized derivative from your facial data to other people. And the other part of it is called liveness detection in biometrics. What it does, it just tells whether you're a real human being in front of the camera or not. You're using over 50 modules to do that.
Got it. So the facial recognition with the secure enclaves works something like on an iPhone, keeping that in the secure chip, so it doesn't leave the device. Does the facial recognition leave the device at all?
Yeah, it does. You have to somehow compare the facial data between one another.
Right.
So what happens is that if you want to the whole scheme, it's not really complicated. What we there is a session in which the person takes the 3D face map from his phone. It works with any camera over 3 megapixel. And then we encrypt it. We basically derive the anonymized version of his face, I would say, so that, it's not the actual photo or video feed, right? It's just some blue ball containing this unique data. Then in encrypted version, it is sent to these hardware enclaves, which are run in the cloud or locally, and there are about 10 to 20 of them which process this anonymized biometric data.
Okay, great. And how do you build Sybil resistance into this into this whole like proof of existence and liveness? How do you ensure that each individual really is an individual and not controlled by someone else?
Well, actually, I would say he can be controlled by someone else. It's all about the numbers. So if you have a network of just 100 nodes, right, not that scalable, well, there is a possibility that 51 person will coordinate, uh, create the version of the node which is malicious, and then basically try to attack the network. Uh, Pretty much the only attack though they can make is change the order of transactions in the block.
Right.
And well, it's all about the numbers, I would say. It's really hard to coordinate with that many people if you have thousands of nodes. And of course, we want to scale it more and more. Eventually, I would say you would need a government to coordinate enough people in order to attack the network. But since most of the blocks are finalized, they won't be able to do much.
So how do you get that Sybil resistance in the network?
In the network, okay. Well, basically, we don't have proof of work or proof of stake, right? So every node to become a validator, they have to go through the facial recognition, and then run the regular, more or less regular substrate node, and then these nodes run the BAPE plus grandpa consensus. Uh, for those who don't know like how it works, it's pretty much Ethereum 2.0 without sharding. So there is like verifiable random function to choose the block proposer, and then there is two-thirds of the validators who have to finalize the block. And yeah, that's how it works. People first of all have to scan their face every week, otherwise they fall out of validator set. That makes coordination of attackers even harder. And in the next updates, we will also introduce proof of time. So, for example, you are in the validator set only if you were running Node for enough time, and then we go even further because we connect the data from the DAO to the consensus set, validator set, meaning that if you're not an active participant of the governance, you will be out of validator set again.
Okay, got it. I think I'm getting a better picture of how this all works. So how do you use the term in your documentation, auditable pseudo-anonymous crypto biometric ID, which is I'm sure a very accurate and very technical term. So how do you communicate the message of what you're doing to an audience that is not necessarily super technical? How do you, what are the main value points that you can really communicate easily to people?
Real decentralization without oligopolistic cartels of validators, and democratic blockchain where one person has only one node and one vote, and everybody has an equal share. It's like a co-ownership of the network.
Got it. Yeah. So sort of back to the basics of blockchain and doubling down.
Yeah. People forgot about the values of decentralization, I would say, over the last 5 years.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's one of the that's the major selling point, and prioritizing that is important. So you launched your mainnet in November of last year. Is that correct? Yep.
That's correct. Yeah.
What are some of the best things you've seen built on the network since then?
Okay, well, frankly speaking, right, we are living in more or less EVM compatible world, and we're EVM compatible only on testnet now. So hopefully CertiK will audit our EVM module as well. And we actually focus right now more on the things that we do better than others, right? And what we do better than others is building a DAO of our own on our network, which will be first based on the work plus snapshot. But I mean, with the Sybil resistance, per human Sybil resistance, I mean, not the one that we have in proof of work and proof of stake, it will be an interesting game of coordination and experiment for us, which will be launched in the next month. So far, I would say the most interesting thing is the Discord integration, because now using pretty much the same pseudonymous and private identities, you can prove that you're real and unique in the context of the whole Discord. Meaning that you do that once, you don't do that anymore for a year, unlike in our consensus. And you can have one person, one vote, right, in your Discord, in your community. You can have Sybil resistant, like airdrops, rewards, and well, these are the things that already working right now so far with the possibilities of our network.
Got it. Yeah, no, that makes the Discord integration, proof of humanity makes a lot of sense. I think that's an interesting, so like blockchain technology with NFTs and cryptocurrency more generally sort of enable digital scarcity, and human beings are scarce, but then sort of translating that online is a challenge, and it's a challenge it sounds like you're tackling. So that's good to hear. And what can you tell us? Sorry, go for it. Yeah.
We wanted to add like a few projects that are still in development, but pretty interesting ones. The first one is called NFT Minter, which is and like during genesis of NFT, where people can either like claim it for free or mint for some tokens. We can actually limit like the distribution of some pretty well demanded NFT to one person. And what will it do? Well, it will surely increase the community of that NFT because a few whales won't buy out a lot, and might also increase the volumes of its trading. This is one thing. Another one is, people started building DAO tools based on our tech as well, so that you could build custom DAOs based on the same technology. And few others. Also, of course, universal basic income protocols in crypto, which are not government related, will be an interesting experiment.
Yeah, so you mentioned the DAO a couple of times. What can you tell us? That's the Humanode DAO upcoming.
Oh the Humanode DAO is of course upcoming. I would say that we divide DAOs into two parts. Sometimes we call them fake DAOs. Most of the DAOs that you see right now in the market are more or less fake DAOs. Why? Because yes, people do vote. I'm not talking about the thing that they vote with tokens. No, I'm talking about the fact that they vote. However, these then developers and the team or the foundation actually executes the update if the vote is on the update of software, for example. And pretty much the only companies right now in crypto who have not fake DAO when the DAO votes and then the update automatically goes through like forkless runtime upgrade are the ones in Substrate ecosystem, like for example Polkadot. And we are starting, of course, with Humanode DAO. The first that will be fake, like all of the things, pretty much all the DAOs on Ethereum, based on multi-sig for execution of the vote. But it will be fun because it will be transparent DAO where people can create tasks for others, get paid trustlessly for the execution of those ideas, proposals, and tasks, and find a team for each other. So you could just go online and see what is happening in the DAO, what real job is happening in the DAO.
Right. Yeah. Real DAO that sort of sticks with the principles of decentralization and one vote and everything. So that's good to hear.
That's true. Actually, you mean if you look at this from political science perspective, you cannot build democracy on day one. I mean, if we would do completely one person, one vote DAO with equal rights to everybody right now, I think things could go badly. So what we did with the DAO is that based on the how many years you participate in the DAO, you get rights to propose the things which are like crucial to the system. So, for example, if you haven't been in Humanode for at least 2 years, you cannot propose like some monetary changes. You cannot propose uh, crucial upgrades of the DAO itself. And of course, like you cannot propose the introduction of new consensus. You can, well, kind of show it on the forum, hey, but only the person who have been long time there has the right to propose things. This is kind of the mechanism of well, our security from the bad things in democracy.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think there are a lot of philosophical and ideological things to consider when building a DAO, when building like a brand new um, method of governance that is online. So yeah, super interesting. Let's turn to security now. So Humanode recently went through an audit with CertiK. I think we have a little video to play, and then we'll get back to the questions.
Awesome. Okay.
Humanode is the first crypto-biometric network where one human equals one node equals one vote. Auditing is a complicated and essential step in the security process. At CertiK, we review the top DeFi projects to help you better understand the findings from our experts. This audit covers Humanode. The summary describes the audit and the types of analyses used. Overview shows the programming language, the blockchain used, and a link to the project's codebase. The vulnerability summary lists issues that need resolution. Audit scope displays which contracts were audited. Findings highlight all issues and ranks them in terms of severity from critical to discussion. In this audit, we found 0 critical, 1 major, 3 medium, 3 minor, and 12 informational issues. Humanode has resolved 9 issues. Visit CertiK.com for the full report.
I highly encourage everyone to check out those audit reports. They're great to read through, learn more about common security vulnerabilities and the remediations that teams put in place. That major vulnerability was remediated by the Humanode team. So just, yeah, good to know what you're getting into by reading the audit report before you get involved with the project. Obviously, security is a very important part of Web3. And yeah, so Victor, how was your audit with CertiK, and why did you go with CertiK?
Why did we go with CertiK? Well, that's a good question. CertiK is fast. CertiK supports you throughout the way. Did I hear it before that? Well, yes, from some teams. But I would say that the terms that CertiK has are kind of unique compared to other projects. And yeah, especially, well, the speed that and the number of developers you have who actually understand any kind of blockchain system, or whatever it is, like Solana, Ethereum, or Substrate. So I think that's why the choice was like that. Many companies don't have that capabilities. They don't even have auditors who know Rust well.
Right. I think that's one of the strengths. Yeah, we've got a lot of super experienced auditors who have expertise in a lot of different languages, Rust included. We've put some blog posts out about Rust recently. So obviously, Humanode, I feel like your project has some unique security considerations. As you said, you've got like the facial verification and proof of liveness, proof of existence. So that sort of introduces some security considerations that other projects may not have. How do you think about these? How do you think of security as it relates to your project?
Well, I would say that the connection itself of the biometric servers and the blockchain and what data it sends is the most like major part, because people care a lot about biometrics itself being secure. However, the data is anonymized, and even if somehow the person goes through our version first based on AMD, SAV, S&P, because it's kind of these hardware enclaves, they tend to get hacked once a year or so. That's how they get stronger, but still. So yeah, the most crucial part for us was things happening on blockchain. Are they happening as we wanted them to, or not? We ourselves, always when we use Substrate itself, we go through every line of code of each update and each palette that we integrate, sending our PRs to Substrate itself. We had 20 going through, merged into the main repo. So I would say, yeah, the thing is the connection between the biometric servers and the blockchain itself is the most important thing here.
Right, that sort of interface between non-blockchain data and putting that on the blockchain. Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. It's good to hear you're thinking about that and thinking through the challenges and the opportunities that come with this project. That's about all we got time for today. Are there any final words you'd like to leave the audience with? Any links where people can follow your project?
Yeah, just Humanode.io. You will find everything there. Yeah, remember, we're on Mainnet. It's been stable for 4 months, thanks to CertiK as well, unlike other blockchains that we know. And please join. I hope there are some people who are not scared to dig into how biometrics work today. Of course, there are poor networks which really save your photos for maybe for QAC reasons, or maybe they just really compare photos to one another. But that's not how it works with good biometric systems and algorithms, right? So if you try to become Humanode, you can really try to become part of something bigger, and we would be happy to have you. We are going to open source part of our code pretty soon, and we'll be welcoming contributors who will see the tasks that we came up with transparently in our first version of the DAO, and you could come up with your tasks as well.
That's great to hear. Great to hear. And we look forward to auditing your EVM compatible platform when it launches or before it launches. Yeah, that'll be good. Looking forward to continuing working with you.
Awesome. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for your time, Victor. Looking forward to following Humanode and keep up the great work. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thank you very much.